Welcome back to A Midnight's Tale. Tonight, I bring you 3 cursed stories that'll twist your mind and transform your very soul. So keep your eyes open, enjoy, and have a terrifyingly good night.
Bathed in the ominous glow of the blood-tinged moon, hanging low in the sky, the desolate expanse of Romania bore witness to a surreal spectacle. The remnants of a once thriving village lay shattered, and atop the crumbling ruins, I, an ageless seer bearing 3 sinister eyes, held sway. Surrounding me were my gypsy brethren, twisted into demonic minions by the arcane force of my malevolent mind, a ghastly manifestation of unwavering loyalty. The atmosphere reeked of death, and the distant echoes of war reverberated through the night. My grotesque third eye emitted an unholy radiance as I surveyed the devastation that had befallen my homeland. The war, a ravenous beast, had torn through the land, leaving in its wake nothing but suffering and despair. In the midst of the chaos, I found delight as it provided the ideal breeding ground for my nefarious machinations. With a mere gesture, demonic minions, their contorted forms moving with an otherworldly grace, set forth. Once vibrant eyes, now aflame with demonic fervor, they executed my every command. The dark art of mind control allowed me to manipulate the thoughts and actions of my kin with potent mastery. As the demonic infiltrators blended seamlessly with the corrupted, I delved deeper into their psyche, feasting on fears and desires. The war had blinded them to the unseen puppet master manipulating their destinies. I, the ancient seer, with my 3 powerful unworldly eyes, reveled in their ignorance. Under the cloak of darkness, I convened with demonic minions in a ghastly ritual beneath the twisted branches of an elder tree. Whispers of spirits intertwined with guttural chants of my kin as we summoned dark energies to aid our conquest. The earth itself recoiled from the evil that surrounded it, trembling beneath our ritualistic communion. Unbeknownst to corrupt leaders, their inevitable downfall loomed. Little did they grasp that their wicked reign was orchestrated by the unseen hand of an ancient seer, driven by a thirst for respect and vengeance. Slowly and methodically, my horde of minions insinuated themselves into the highest echelons of the corrupted regime. Minds bent to my will executed acts of unspeakable horror, sowing discord and mistrust among the ranks. The seemingly unending war began to crumble from within. Their faction has no defense against the dark arts of this land, but now they will see. As the tides turned in my favor, I reveled in the suffering of my adversaries. My third eye radiated a brighter glow, absorbing the psychic energy of the chaos I had sown. With each passing moment, my strength grew and my insidious influence spread like a wildfire across their conquered land. Once corrupt leaders, driven mad by paranoia and betrayal, turned on each other in a frenzied dance of blood and desperation. The war that had plagued my homeland collapsed under the weight of its own insanity, leaving behind a scarred landscape. In the aftermath, I stood amidst the ruins, my family at my side, surveying the reclaimed kingdom. Once corrupt leaders were now but a distant memory, their twisted bodies scattered across the desolation. Malevolent laughter echoed through the victorious night, carried on whines of triumph. The ancient seer with 3 malevolent eyes had prevailed, and Romania was now mine to rule, as the prophecy foretold. The toll of blood and suffering mattered little to one who had harnessed the darkest depths of psychic power. The land lay in ruins, but under the shadow of my dominion, it became a tale woven into the rich tapestry of gypsy folklore. Forever.
It seems if you're born in a cursed place, you fight to keep your family, no matter the sacrifice. Which brings us to our next story. How strong can a brother's bond be if the risk of death? Let's find out.
The dense forest loomed around us, an endless mountain reaching to the top that seemed to close in as we trudged forward. My twin brother Alex and I had embarked on a hiking adventure that quickly turned into a desperate struggle for survival. We were lost, running out of water, and our meager supply of sustenance had dwindled to almost nothing after days of wandering. Desperation hung in the air as we stumbled through the underbrush. Our exchanges grew more intense, each step heavier than the last. The notion that only one of us might endure until rescue whispered itself between our labored breaths. I can't go on like this. We don't have enough for both of us. Soon we're both going to die if we don't figure something out. I nodded solemnly, the gravity of the situation settling upon us like a heavy fog. We found a small clearing, a brief respite from the oppressive trees and rocks, and the realization that we were at a crossroads hit us. The fight commenced without words, a silent agreement that survival demanded sacrifice. Our fists collided, echoing through the silent forest. Each blow was a painful reminder of the dire straits we found ourselves in. As we grappled on the forest floor, the world around us began to warp and twist. The air shimmered with hallucinations, strange figures, distorted landscapes, and echoes of our own voices that had no source. Our struggle became a bizarre brawl, a surreal moment of desperation. Yet, as the hallucinations intensified, my brother and I started to notice a pattern. Our bodies were merging, shifting and contorting as if two puzzle pieces finally finding their fit. The pain increased with every passing moment, and we realized that the hallucinations were not mere tricks of the mind, but glimpses into a reality we couldn't comprehend. As twins, our lives has been inseparable, but I guess when you're facing death, things change quickly. The forest, once an endless labyrinth, seemed to fold in on itself. No matter which path we took, we always found ourselves standing on the same cliff, overlooking a distant city. It was as if the rock face was a sentient being toying with us, guiding us to the same precipice no matter where we turned. Exhausted and battered, we reached a mutual understanding. The more we fought against the merging, the more agonizing it became. In a strange act of resignation, we decided to embrace the transformation, hoping that the unity of our beings would somehow increase our chances of survival. As our bodies melded together, the pain reached an unbearable crescendo. The world around us collapsed into a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations. The forest, the cliff, the distant city, all merged into a surreal tapestry. And then, in an instant, the pain ceased. We stood on the cliff, but something was different. We were not two separate entities fighting for survival anymore. We had become something new, something that transcended the boundaries of individuality. We are one being as we waited on the precipice. The distant hum of civilization reached our ears. Rescue was on the horizon, and we, the amalgamation of two brothers, stood ready to face whatever came next, together.
Interesting. A cursed forest seems fitting considering our next tale. But who will survive this time, if at all? Thank you for watching, human, and I'll find you next time. Enjoy. Ah!
The night was colder than I had ever felt, and there was a strange night sky. I couldn't find the moon at all. It was gone, I was sure, and only a glow remained. Unusual indeed. My team of seasoned forest rangers and I ventured deep into these unmapped woods. We had received distress calls about lost campers, and duty propelled us forward despite the unsettling aura surrounding the tallest trees I had ever seen. As we approached the campsite, an eerie silence enveloped the forest. Suddenly, shadowy figures emerged, owl-like monsters with razor-sharp talons and eyes that glowed an unnatural crimson. Panic seized us, and before we could react, the creatures attacked in a furious rage. Chaos ensued as we fought for our lives, but the monsters were relentless. One by one, my comrades succumbed to their savage onslaught. A piercing pain engulfed me as the creature's claws dug into my flesh, and an unsettling transformation began. My bones started to crack, my muscles twisted, and senses distorted. My entire head began to grow and transform. My humanity slipped away, replaced by a monstrous form mirroring those who attacked us. In a frenzied bloodlust, we turned on each other, tearing into flesh with an animalistic impulse. Still conscious of our own actions and amidst the grotesque slaughter, we discovered the lost campers, their horrified faces reflecting our own monstrous visages. The creatures descended upon them, and the once innocent campers joined our gruesome dance of death. We all morphed and contorted into these beasts. The cursed forest seemed to revel in our misery, whispering haunting echoes of our former selves. Feathers clung to our mangled bodies, and our once human eyes glowed with an otherworldly malevolence. The night, now saturated with the wails of agony, stretched endlessly as a cruel reminder of our irreversible transformation. As the realization of our monstrous existence gnawed at the remnants of our sanity, a perverse hunger emerged among us owl-humanoid creatures. No longer were we bound by the duty to protect. Instead, an insatiable appetite for suffering consumed us. Our frenzied attacks on each other and the remaining campers intensified, creating a gruesome symphony of carnage. The twisted trees, witnesses to our descent into madness, seemed to move and tear in strange approval. Unearthly howls reverberated through the air as we succumbed to our primal instincts, tearing through flesh and bone with an unhinged fervor. The forest had claimed us, body and soul, as its own grotesque offspring. As dawn approached, casting an eerie glow on the gruesome aftermath, a shiver of despair swept through the cursed woods. The surviving owl humanoids, our monstrous forms now eternally marred by the horrors we inflicted, gathered in a nightmarish congregation. With hollow eyes, we stared into the abyss of our own damnation. In the twisted silence that followed, the cursed forest embraced its newfound brood, the once noble rangers and unsuspecting campers now forever entangled in the tragic tapestry of these forbidden woods. I'm still conscious in my mind, but no control of my new terrifying form. As if I'm only a witness looking out the eyes of my own vessel. A haunting reminder that some places are better left undiscovered and some forests are best left untouched.
If anyone can hear my thoughts, please, do not come for me. We're lost.